Hi Gino,
Alright,
welcome to Sudeep Audio's channel.
thanks, Aditya.
It's a pleasure and an honor to have you on our channel also.
My pleasure to be here.
Thanks. Uh, you've grown up in a musical household.
Yeah,
Your father, by the time I'm sure you were born, was already a big name.
yeah,
I mean, he was known across the
yeah.
country and
That was a normal thing for me. I figured that's how it is.
right. How was your childhood like? Were you uh, pushed into music, or did you grow up with music around the house and that's how you got into this
Yeah, I
field?
think it's the latter. I grew up in a musical environment
Right.
and I wasn't forced to do anything, which was
Okay.
actually why I think I did it.
Okay.
Because as a kid, when you're forced to do something, you become a rebel and you don't want to do what your parents tell you to do.
Yes.
But I wasn't forced. I was sent for piano class. Like most people who want their kids to do music or music related things, usually everybody is sent for piano class at some point as a kid.
Okay.
But I liked it, I did it, but I didn't take it up seriously. And the environment was at home. That was not like, okay, you have to play piano and practice. No, there were keyboards. Probably every keyboard that was out at that time was lying around in the house. He bought a drum kit. I don't know why, but we had a Yamaha drum kit. There was a bass guitar. There was a trumpet. So instruments were around. And I kind of dabbled with everything. I used to play a little trumpet when I was a kid.
Okay.
And he thought I would take up trumpet. But I gravitated towards the drums. Mostly because of the whole first of all, the gear. I really liked the look of the instrument. And then the physicality of playing and seeing like Ranjit and Siva, you know, Adrian, Benny, Lester, all these guys used to play with dad. I used to see them coming in the rehearse in the hall. And just, I used to be very taken up with that. And when I got into learning it, I could get it very easily. So that got me more interested because, oh, this was easier than playing piano.
Okay.
So I thought, if it's easy, I'm going to do it. And it was fun. So, and I liked the whole technical aspect of playing and all that. So I really got into drums. So the environment of not forcing me to do something led me to taking it up seriously.
Okay.
Yeah.
And did you take training formally somewhere?
No,
For
I
drums?
think I look at myself as a self-taught guy because the intense study I did on my own. I was like I keep telling Ranjit, I didn't have to go to him to study because his influence is so strong because I've listened to him since I was born. Like he was playing with dad since I was born, so I've heard him, for that many years till now. And same goes with Siva. Siva helped me out a lot. Siva was very big on telling me to practice and show me stickings and stuff, and you should practice this and practice that and stuff. And correct guidance from dad was very important of what roads not to go down.
Okay.
This is the way you should go about it. Don't waste your time doing this or that. This is the way, which is I think the key ingredient instead of me wasting my time in something else musically. And I took Agent gave me some brush lessons. I remember Lester giving me some stick lessons. I was sent when I got interested in drums. I was around 8 or 9. So I was sent to Kawas Kaka, Kelsey Lord's father, to study, and he used to play drums with SD Burman, RD Burman, And I remember him taking me. I was in his house, and he showed me how to hold the drumsticks, that traditional grip and proper posture, and just practice. They call it mummy daddy. They used to teach the kids right, left, from me daddy, mummy daddy, and that was my first proper lesson, and it was good because it really showed me how to hold the sticks correctly and stuff like that. But as a 9-year-old kid doing technical exercises again, I was not so keen. But whatever he did, I mean later on in life I really cherished that, and it helped me have a very strong foundation to what I'm doing now.
Hmm.
So all these few lessons with all these kind of actually people my father knew
Hmm.
who just helped me out, and I developed the interest from them.
I would say it's very modest of you to say that it's because of your father, you got to meet these people.
Yeah,
But at the same time, that only takes you to a certain level.
true.
For
That's
example, if my father has an XYZ business, I can just be accepted initially, like a first
Correct.
meeting.
Correct.
But post that, it's not
Yeah,
necessary.
then it's all on me. I have to do, and that's the thing. when I got into it seriously, I'm the lucky guy who has the internet and DVD generation.
Okay.
So and with dad traveling all over the world, again, he got me a lot of DVDs. VHS, back in the day. VHS.
Right.
I used to get a lot of instructional VHS of all the master drummers, everybody. Dave Weckl, Dennis Chambers, Simon Phillips, Virgil Donati, all these guys. So I got to see all this, and I really studied those videos. And me taking interest in watching those videos, studying them, practicing them, playing 7 hours a day, that was a very intense period for me to develop my chops and my playing, basically. So that was my self-taught era, which was a very heavy period of learning.
At those times when you were practicing and all, obviously you kept meeting musicians at home or in shows or things like that.
Definitely.
Were there moments where you thought, man, I really need to, increase my standard of playing and
A lot.
Like we do end up making mistakes at times.
Yeah, it's there's no such thing as perfect. You strive to be perfect, but then there's also a saying like the beauty lies in the imperfections. But then that's a little bit of a headspace. But yeah, I mean, still till now, like yesterday I had a concert, Shanmukhanand with Niladi, Sheldon, Nagy, and Satyajit Sitar Funk Band. Dad also played with us, and it was a good concert. I mean, people enjoyed it. Everybody played great, but I still felt it could have been better. I could have played this better, that better. And if that stops, that's a problem. So that is an ongoing thing, and I've seen an improvement in my playing over the years, but I'm not there yet, and I'll never be there yet. I always want to sound like my favorite guys, and because if you say you're there yet again, it's not gonna happen.
Okay.
So always know that this is the goal. This is the perfection I want to reach. You'll never get there, but the journey, keep going, trying to reach there.
Right. Are there any practice sessions that you do at home, even for your arms or legs?
No, I used to go. You can actually see I don't go to gym now, but I used to do a little bit of gymming early when I was younger. But what I felt it used to tighten my arms, and maybe I didn't do it right, but I used to get very tight. And that affects your playing, because when you're playing you have to be really loose. Especially you see when people play fast, they're not gripping the sticks tight. You have to be loose, relax, breathe. So this actually develops your arms, into getting them pretty strong. And stuff, I avoid doing any exercise just so that, maybe a little stretching. But I play so much that the last thing I want to do is go for a jog after I play, which I think I need to do, but I get really tired. I play if I'm not working or rehearsing, I play whole day.
Wow.
Yeah.
But after any kind of a session or a concert, do your arms pain and
No.
do you feel that kind of, because you have to drive also at times and you have to do many
things.
things.
Yes, you do feel, if it's a really big session, you feel it, but it's a good feeling, because I think music, you're physically playing, but music is such a, I'm using the word spiritual for lack of a better word, it's such a spiritual thing that it takes you to someplace else, headspace wise, and you don't feel so, drained out, because that music is giving you that energy, and it just works in mysterious ways.
Right.
I feel a musician, when you're performing on stage and when you're playing improvised music, your mind, body and soul is one. You're physically playing, your mind is obviously thinking of stuff you're playing, and your soul is the feel that you're playing with. So I think this is probably one of the only vocations in art where everything is at one point in time. Improvised music though.
Right.
Not something that is rehashed the same way all the time. Then you go brain dead.
You have to travel with your kit all over the world, or how does that work?
All over the world, no. I try to take my kit all over in India, because unfortunately our backline in most of the cities are not very strong. And I play, like I said, I play a lot of improvised music, which puts me in a situation to play a lot of solos. I have to play a lot of drum solos. I need a consistent sound quality. And now with the shows we put on, I need a certain look of the drum kit that I play even. So, and this beautiful drum kit, Pearl Reference kit that I endorse, is an incredible drum kit, so I'm spoiled with the sound. And I want that sound when I play. And usually the bands I work with, we have a consistent sound that we want to showcase. And I've been lucky enough to have a tech, and we go, Mr. Padam Singh, and we go, and usually in India I take my kit everywhere.
Okay.
But abroad, their backline's pretty good. So I just send in a rider and I just carry sticks.
Okay.
Even cymbals, Zilchin.
Is that because you're used to your pair of sticks?
Yeah,
Or?
yeah. Sticks are a little personal
Okay.
for me.
Okay.
And I endorse this Bigfoot company.
Okay.
And I keep going through thin sticks, thick sticks, but the standard is called 5A. And this is what I'm back to using the standard now, because it's funny when you play different styles of music, certain sticks feel better for certain things. So I'm trying to get comfortable with one stick to fit all. So again, that is also a process that just keeps shifting. So, yeah.
At any kind of show, I think the drum kit is the most intricate and complicated and time consuming to set up.
Yeah, you should
And-
have come yesterday. It was crazy.
And even after the show, people think
Yeah,
after the show, musicians go home or go
exactly.
out for a meal.
No, it's a nightmare. But I like the gear. I'm a gearhead, especially drum gearhead. Behind this curtain, there's a lot of stuff. But I have techs, and I have some students who come out to help me sometimes. The shows in Bombay, so I'm kind of lucky. Post show, I don't have to do anything.
Okay.
But I know how it is when you have to pack up and set up on your own, and it's grueling.
Or even travel via an airline.
Oh yeah, like me and my tech, I take enough to fit on 2 trolleys.
Okay.
And we push those 2 trolleys, but it's load in, load out, load into the cars. It's serious.
It is.
Serious work, but you have to love it so much to do it. And I know what I get, the comfort level that when I play, I know the sound that I'm getting, I know the consistency on the feel, I'm comfortable. So the music is going to be so much better.
Correct.
The end result, it's all for the big picture, it's going to just be great.
Any moments of anxiety when you travel between cities because airlines just dump?
Yeah, oh, you see that, you're looking out of the window, the guy, the bags are coming out of the plane, and 2 guys are just like, wait. My Tom, this 10-inch Tom, sweet little Tom, gone.
So you're like heart in your mouth.
But you don't. I've seen my hardware case fall on the tarmac. You know when the luggage car takes a turn.
Yes.
Damn. And I'm looking from the bus helplessly, like, what can you do? But my hardware cases are pretty strong. I got SKB hardware.
How is it abroad? I mean, do they handle the equipment with much more respect? And
The airline wise, I don't carry my equipment on the airline, but I heard some airlines are not good. Some airlines lose a lot of luggage.
Oops.
I'm not going to mention any names because I'm not sure, but this is what I've heard from foreign musicians. Yeah.
Okay. So you do also not just concerts but also recording for Bollywood
Yeah.
movies.
Exactly.
So any experience that you'd like to share with us? Any recent project that you just did, or how is it different?
I did 2 sessions recently. I do them sporadically. I don't do them very often. I do them. Live drums in a studio again is a very rare thing these days.
Mm-hmm.
Also, it is more rare a few years ago. It's like coming up now. But I just did 2 sessions. I'll do a lot of sessions at Yashraj Studios with Shantanu or with Jay upstairs. Good live rooms, very good sounding rooms. So most of the composers book those studios. And apart from that, Aslam Studio.
Okay.
Do a lot of work there. Last 2 sessions were at Yashraj. I did one with Sachin Jigar.
Okay.
I don't know which movie it was for though. And this last one I did was for Shankar S. and Loy for Bhag Milka Bhag.
Okay. So when you work on a film song, vis-a-vis when you do maybe your own album or a show, do you change your kit?
Yeah, that's why I have 3 kits in one.
Okay.
So size wise, it's like I look at it like how a programmer would go into programming a song.
Mm-hmm.
He has choices of different kick drum sounds. He has choices of snare drum sounds. He has choices of tom sizes. He has choices of cymbals, everything. Why can't I have that choice, you know? And I devised the kit in such a way that when I do big concerts live, like the last night's gig at Shanmukhan, and it's a big stage. So I have 3 bass drums, 6 tom-toms, 2 snare drums, tons of cymbals. And I use that for big concerts. I devised this setup where I can play all at, sitting on one stool. But for a session, I'll take that whole rig, but I don't have to set up the whole thing. I'll listen to the song. Then they'll tell me, I want, like a boomy bass drum. Then I know, okay, I'll get the big guy. Or I want a small bass drum. Oh, I'll take the little guy. I want a tight bass drum. I'll take the medium guy. So I have that option with me. So I take all my gear. Done. I hire tempo. We take all the gear into the studio, and sometimes I may even play just 3 things, but I need that option. And it's good. I think composers like that. I think it's professional to do that, because you have to give them all the options you want, because they're paying you for your service.
You can't say that I forgot my tom-tom at
That's
home.
not professional. You won't get called back again. I wouldn't call you back again if I would call you for a session for me. So I would how would I like a musician to come and do something for me, and give them. Basically, you need to deliver what they want you to deliver quickly and well.
Okay. But you never get a brief that it's a rock song or it's a hip-hop song?
Most of the time I hear it the first time when I enter the studio. Oh. So when my rig is being set up, I'm listening to the song in the control room. If it's a complex arrangement, I'll probably pen it down. Otherwise, usually it's not so complex, and usually they are pre-programmed parts done on the drum machine. And usually they want a feel of a live drummer. So I cop that program drum part. And then I give some variations of my own, and then they mix and match.
In Indian classical music, the most commonly used instrument is the tabla.
Yeah.
You never got attracted to any of the Indian instruments?
I did. I like the Carnatic system because of the fusion. My first gig, I was 8 years old when I played my first gig.
Okay.
With this group called Sangam, Dad's fusion group. They had Carnatic musicians from Bangalore. And I learned my first dha, tatakujana dha when I was 8. So I kind of grasped that pretty quickly. And I always liked that. But I bought myself a ghatam. I started practicing. But then I loved the drum set too much, so I didn't spend too much time practicing that instrument or studying it properly. And those instruments take a lot of time. You need to really shed on that for many years. And what I figured, I like the drum set so much. I want to play the drum set primarily, but I like the concept of Indian classical and Carnatic music. So I thought, whoever I play with, whoever I got a chance to hang with, I learned a lot from Sridhar Parthasarathy, Satyajit Thawarkar. I play with them a lot. But any percussionist, Indian percussionist, if we're doing a concert, I take something from them. They teach me something, and I apply that to the drum kit. So theoretically, I learn it. Physically, I don't want to get into that because I want to spend more time playing drums.
How does it feel to play with Dad? Like when he's on stage and you're like...
It's fantastic. I mean, we're used to it now. We've been playing for about over 10 years now.
Okay.
But
initially it was...
It's great. Yeah, he's a very strong musician. So initially it was like, you want to keep up. At the same time, you want to impress him. So you try to do cool stuff. And then you figure out, okay, maybe this cool stuff is not so cool here. And then you learn along the way, but he's a very patient guy. He's probably too patient.
Maybe post shows, has he told you that this was not...
He never says anything negative to anybody.
Wow.
Which is a fantastic thing, because sometimes, especially because Sheldon De Silva and myself, usually we are like the rhythm section, and we play with him a lot. So usually we are like, maybe we have a point of view or something, we're like, what is this? But then he's like, cool, yeah. Then he'll always talk about the positives of whatever bad happens. He'll talk about the positives, which is incredible. And we are like, wow, okay.
Great.
Okay, we didn't see it like that, okay. But it's great. And he never stresses. He's really open. Maybe if he has to say something, he'll say it in a way that's not really, digging at you or anything.
When it comes to miking of drums, I'm talking about a live show.
Yeah.
Do you have to also kind of, I mean, it's done in the sound check, but
yeah.
Do you have a preference of microphones?
Not really. I think most high-end microphones are good of the big companies. I own a set of Audix mics.
Do you take them with you?
Yeah. Especially on the big rig, because normally sound vendors don't have enough mics to cover me for the 3 bass drums, 6-tom rig. So I kind of mix and match mine with theirs. And I endorse LP percussion. So LP makes these LP claw mic clamps, which I think are the best clamps. They fit any percussion instrument, and they're versatile. You can move them anyway. So I like to clamp on a lot of these LP claws onto my toms, so I don't have stands. and I use my mics preferably for the drums. And then I usually the vendors have some condensers, Shure, AKG, Sennheisers, whatever, and I run that with them. And if I know who the engineer is, if I trust him, I'm not gonna do too much to worry about the kit. If I don't know him, I will wait and see what he does. And if I can see, if I foresee a problem, then I will kind of butt in and say, okay, no, I want it like this and I want it like that. But I'm in charge of playing drums. He's in charge of FOH. That's his job. I shouldn't tell him what to do. I look at it that way. But some people are more anal about that. But I'm okay. Yeah.
What are your future projects that you plan to do? Do you also intend to get into programming? And
No, I don't like programming.
Yeah.
I do a little programming with Dad when we do jingles, but I'm not a fan of. I want to be that live guy. So even if it's studio, I want to be live in the studio. And I'm a big advocate of doing albums where bands play live together to record the songs instead of overdubbing. That the way most of the jazz groups do it, the way all the big, Beatles, Stones, Zeppelin, Deep Purple, they all did it that way. And there's magic in that, And now we have the gear. We have top of the line gear to make us sound good in a studio. You don't have to, we cannot do it, we don't sound good, we don't have the room. We have rooms, we have great stuff. So most of the projects I'm involved in, I just did a trio thing with Dad and Sheldon. It's on YouTube, just three of his songs, where we just went into Yashraj, set up in the same room, played 2 takes of each song, took the best take, edited the video, 3 cameras, done. In 4 hours we did that.
Okay.
So I can't see why a band can't, rehearse in their rehearsal pad 4-5 days, go into a good studio, record your songs live. Because there's a magic in that thing, that human emotion and that X factor, what they call. It comes from that. Overdubbing and rehashing and rehashing and rehashing. It may sound good for the first 5 seconds when you have this dubstep and this programming loop and all that, but then after 5 months, nobody cares. But why people still love retro music? It had that. New music doesn't have that. Yeah.
Would you like to give some brief advice to young drummers or young musicians who are wanting to, they look up to you? And
be honest with how you play. That is very important. Be humble, but at the same time be extremely confident when you play. You should have a certain attitude. Ranjit will tell you that.
Okay.
He's big advocate of that, and you have to. It comes out in your playing, and that's really important. Not only technically obviously you need the technique, because you can't say what you want to say without the technique. But with just technique and no feel, again, it's redundant. It has to be a great balance. For me, I think a really great musician, all the masters have it. A good balance of technique and feel. And you have to be aware of both and just kind of always push it up. So that is really important, I think, for every musician.
Thanks, Gino, for spending time with us.
Thank you.
It was wonderful talking to you.
My pleasure.